Have you ever wondered what these little stickers were on your fruit and vegetables? Well, there's more than meets the eye here. This is something consumers really, really need to pay attention to. It can affect your health and your pocketbook. So let's talk about these little stickers, also known as PLU Codes. Hey, it's Elise. I'm with Concerning Gardens and More, and I'm glad you stopped by. I am on the cusp of U.S. planting zone 10A and 9B. We've really been having some nasty weather, but today is turning out to be really nice. All right, let's talk about these little stickers that's on your fruit and vegetables. PLU codes. PLU codes are price lookup codes. The governing body that oversees the PLU codes is the International Federation for Produce Standards, otherwise known as IFPS. And this is a large national governing body. It is worldwide. There's other countries that use PL codes. They may or may not use the same digits as the United States. So what I will be discussing today is the PLU codes, the price lookup codes for the United States. Now, these codes were not put on here for consumers. They probably don't even want consumers to pay attention to them, but I think it's important that we do. The PLU codes were instigated for the wholesalers, the retailers, the end people. It helps to improve the supply chain. It helps them to track inventory. It helps the end person, that cashier or the clerk, look up the prices. Therefore, price lookup code. The stickers have been appearing since 1990 in the U.S. Okay. It is not legally required. No wholesaler, no retailer, no distributor, nobody has to put a PLU code on. It's all volunteer. That's why sometimes you don't see PLU codes. The PLU codes come in standard digits. What we as a consumer should be concerned with is that very first digit. They will be 5 numbers or 4 numbers on the various PLU codes. All right, just a Granny Smith apple. It starts with a 44017. Now this code will not tell you the point of origin. It will not tell you where your produce was grown. Maybe. Now some people go ahead and put where the produce was grown on it, but not all, and they aren't required to. Now this was grown USA. And another little note here. If it says distributed by or distributed in, does not mean that that was where it was actually grown. So we want to look at that first digit. Now the whole set of digits can refer to how the first digit is how it was grown. Then it's the size, not the actual size of the fruit, but how many of these Granny Smith apples can you put in a standard box? And then the other codes are just for tracking purposes. For the consumer, right now, all we want to look at is that first digit. So let's go over a few. This little set of fruit, banana, a couple apples, mango, I'll start with a 4. Now, some will have the country of origin. There is another whole set of rules that says you have to put on country of origin, but it doesn't mean it has to be on the sticker, and it doesn't mean it has to be on the fruit. Your country of origin could be on the box it came in, the original bag it came in. So if your retailer is taking the produce out of your boxes and bags, you may never know. This particular mango is from Peru. Sometimes the sticker will tell you who the distributor is, like Sunkiss. All right, this is a PLU, excuse me. This is a PLU 4959. Again, that first digit is what consumers should be interested in. A 4 stands for conventionally grown, which doesn't sound too bad, does it? Well, conventionally grown means pesticides, herbicides, chemicals, synthetic fertilizers. You want to really make sure that you wash all your material when you get it home. And I'll be doing a video shortly on talking about how important it is to wash your all your produce. It's called the Dirty Dozen of Produce. I didn't make that up, folks. It's a real thing. So keep an eye out for that video. All right, so we have the conventional 4. Most everything I buy is conventional 4 because, frankly, I can't always afford organic. All right. Another code starts with a 3. Now this says red tomato, vine ripe, USA, and the code is 3151. I don't know what variety of tomato, only that it was in USA. Same way with the onion. Now this onion shows that this was Sunkist brand, and the code is 3493. So when they scan that in, they know that this is an onion. They, as the retailer, clerk, and cashier, they know a 3151 is a tomato, and they know that a 3616 is an apple, which we don't need to know all that. Again, all we need to know is that first digit for right now. So what does a 3 mean? Well, a 3 means ionizing irradiation. Otherwise, it's been hit with radioactivity. It's also called electronically pasteurized or irradiated. Now, this has been around for decades, folks. It's not anything new. And we have been eating these forever. It is not it's not illegal to not put the code on. They don't have to put these decals on. That's a choice that they make. Now, there is a legal code that says they have to tell people if the food has been radiated. But it doesn't mean it has to have a sticker. If your food comes in a box to the retailer takes all the food out and displays it singularly. It may never say that the food's been radiated. The retailer can put it on the sign, or he can keep the produce in the container it originally came from the distributor. And that is supposed to have a particular sign, and I'll put that up on the screen, that tells you that it's been irradiated. Maybe I'll do a video on this and talk a little bit more on this, because this is a very controversial subject. I try to stay away from controversy, but I do like to share with you things that you might want to look up and do more research for yourself. So that's a 4, conventional. That's a 3, irradiated. There is also a 6, a code that starts with 6. I do not have an example. It is a pre-cut produce. So like if you go to your grocery store and you see a flat of half of a cauliflower, and it's wrapped, and it might, because again, they aren't required by law to do it, it might have a PLU code that starts with 6. Okay. Another example that I don't have here is PLU codes that start with an 8. An 8 means it's a GMO, or genetically modified piece of produce. I want to know that personally. Okay, last but not least is a 9. 9 is organic, and the code will start with a 9. And if you look at it, it says 94011. If we go back to the conventionally grown banana, it's just going to say 4011. So those last numbers are to identify the code, the variety of produce. As far as banana, it's not going to tell you what the variety itself of the banana, but it's going to tell you it's a banana. And it's going to tell you the size. So both of these happen to be from the same distributor. One is conventionally grown, one is organic grown. We paid a lot more for this organic than we did for the conventionally grown. Here's an apple that's also organic. So this is a 94131, and I think there might be a code after that. I can't see. So the organic will have the same code as its counterpart in other processes of growing it, except they put a 9 in front of it. So that gives you an idea. All you need to do as a concerned consumer, because these codes are not for us, these codes are for distributors, wholesalers, retailers, is look at that first digit. You'll be able to tell if it's conventionally grown with chemicals. You'll be able to tell if it was irradiated or if radioactivity. You'll be able to tell if it's a GMO, and you will be able to tell if it's organic. If the distributor decided to put the PLU code on. Again, it's not a legal thing that they don't have to do it. All right, PLU codes. Very interesting. These little labels, these little stickers, supposedly are edible. I personally do not eat them because you really want to wash all your produce, no matter how it was grown, even if you grow it yourself. There can be debris up underneath these labels. On the conventional grown products, under these labels can be residual pesticides and dirt. So, remove all your stickers. Plus, I put a sticker out one time. I don't remember exactly what I was doing. I stuck it on the arm of one of the patio chairs because I wanted to save the variety name. I forgot about it. As time went on, through triple-digit heat, rainstorms, hurricanes, cold weather, that sticker was still there. It faded a little bit, but it was still there. I could not get it scraped off. It glued on so steadfast. So no, personally, I am not going to eat that sticker. So again, it's not a legal requirement. It is a legal requirement that they tell you the country of origin, but it doesn't have to be on the piece of fruit that you buy or the piece of vegetable that you buy. It can be on the box. So we have to look out for ourselves. Now, here's the real clincher about all this. All these numbers are going to change. I do not know when. But according to the governing body, there's such a demand for the PLU codes now, they're running out of numbers. So they're going to go in and change all the PLU codes. Conventionally grown products that used to just start with a 4 will now be 83000 to 83999. Organic material that used to just start with a 9 will now be 84000 to 84999. They did not give an example of how the changes will affect GMOs, precuts, or radiated produce. Again, I do not know when these changes are going to come about. You will still be able to read the code and tell how it was grown. You'll just have to learn the new definitions of the code. Keep an eye out for these new codes. All right. So I think that covers some basics on the PLU code, price lookup code. Not originated for consumers, but very, very important that we learn to read these codes. Now, I didn't know about these codes forever. Now, I didn't know about the codes. I just thought they were stickers that said the manufacturer or the distributor or something like that, and I ignored them. And then a few years ago, I started doing some research when I got interested in growing my own organic foods. And I started looking at the price lookup codes, the PLU code, and to see what the numbers meant. I was kind of shocked. Okay. What can we do as consumers to get around some of this? Well, we grow our own foods. If you're in an apartment, if you have a windowsill, grow your own herbs. And yes, herbs and nuts can be GMOs and they can be irradiated. Grow your own herbs. Put a pot in a sunny window and grow a small variety of tomato or pepper. If you have a patio or porch, put you some pots out there and grow something. Find a community garden. Start a community garden. If you're a homestead, small farm, a cottage grower, a backyard grower, and you have room, definitely try to grow your own produce. But even your own produce, now it needs to be washed thoroughly when you bring it in, whether you are using chemicals or not. Another way to get around this is to buy your produce locally. And produce, when I was doing my health classes a few decades back, it was very important to buy produce in your locality. Less transit time. The produce is fresher. Things like that. So, buy from farmers market. Backyard growers that grow it, if you trust them. Little mom and pop's grocery stores that get their produce from local local growers. It's just like my family went to one of the strawberry you-pick farms recently, and they came back with these great big gorgeous strawberries. Yes, the strawberries were conventionally grown, but they were not irradiated and they were not GMO. So there's things that we can do as consumers. We can't just stop buying this stuff if you are not able to grow them yourselves. But maybe this isn't a little incentive to put a pot out and grow something. I am going to come back and do a video about how important it is to clean your produce, and it's called the Dirty Dozen of Produce, and you can look it up online. Very interesting. You can look up online about the irradiated or radiated fruit. I don't know if I will do a video on that because it is quite controversial. We know about organics. The GMO, you can look up and find out loads of information, and sometimes GMO is really misunderstood. For me personally, I do not want anything that's radiated. I do not want GMO. I will stick with the conventional, with the organic, or stuff I grow myself. But it is entirely up to you what you want to do. And keep an eye out for all these new codes that are coming. And until we speak again, have a fantastic day.